It's great. It really affects me dealing with mental health cases and things of that nature, and having an elevator. At the existing Denman building, we have these real steep stairs, and there's no elevator. It doesn't meet ADA requirements, so I'm constantly having to juggle how I deal with people, how I interact with people, because a lot of the individuals I deal with are elderly, and some of them are challenged on mobility. And so this will make that a lot easier. And then just the expansion, the size of the courtroom, you know, having more room for the public to be here, I think is vitally important. You know, allowing us more flexibility in our facilities in the county. Hopefully to one day address the needs of the courthouse. We'll be able to keep the other older facilities, have room, space available to juggle departments. But the main thing about this, I think, is the neatest thing, is the taxpayers of the county did not pay for this. Well, not directly. This came through the federal government, through the American Rescue Fund. We were able to do this facility all with grant money. So I think that's of importance to the community, that how we paid for this.
With those ARPA funds, and you know, you guys allocated some additional funding for the building for some things that came up unknowingly. How much would you say all of this cost in total?
I don't have that with me, but somewhere north of $5 million total. We had to buy the property, then do the construction. And our bids actually, you know, due to COVID and logistics and things that took place, when we were doing this building, you know, the bidding process was kind of up in the air. All the engineers and architects were complaining about the numbers that they were getting. So our numbers came in high based on our architectural estimate. But fortunately, that changes, and when we bid the jail, our numbers came in a lot lower than we expected. So I think we had a good estimate. It was just the you know, the process, the system that we were in due to that impacts of the pandemic. And so we did end up paying more, but it's a little over $5 million, probably between 5 and 5.5. But all that was the grant funds that paid for it. So we got good use of those funds. And those funds could not be used on roads. We've had some criticism that we should have spent that on roads, but they could not be used on roads. The only funds that could have been used on roads is what we're spending on the jail. And I think the jail is much more critical. I think it's much more important to address public safety in the county. Oh, it took a while. 2021 probably when it started. The county received funds, and they had to go through a process of selecting engineers, architects, and grant consultants. And all of that was in place when we got here, when I got here. So we were able to go directly to design. You know, once the commission, I went through 2 different commissioners' courts in order to get where we're at today. Luckily, we had positive support throughout. So we're not only doing the jail, and we completed this new annex in Commissioner's Court, but we're also doing fire protection with those funds at the airport, which is a critical aspect of airport operations.
What's better about this room than the last one?
It's more modern. It's built with the, technology in mind, the size, the number of people that we can seat. It's not quite double, but it's considerably more than that can attend. We've also provided for a TV screen outside of the courtroom in case we have an overflow audience, that they can observe what's going on in the courtroom. So it's, you know, it's just a overall nicer facility compared to what we've had in the past.
Yeah, and what all is going to be housed here? I know tax office is here.
So you have the Commissioner's Court, and the commissioners and myself are housed here. And our staff that we have are housed upstairs on the 2nd floor. The county auditor will be here, the county treasurer will be here, our veteran services will be here, our indigent health care is here. And another great thing about this building, it had 2 different front doors side by side, and it worked out perfect for indigent health care to have their own entrance off the off of Shepherd in order for the clients that they deal with to access their office. So that worked out well. We have TABC here, and human resources will also be located here. And it puts us all in close proximity with all of our departments. The only outline at this point would be your road and bridge, which that's where they need to be, and the elections administration, which will also doing this and consolidating here allows us to modify that building and to have areas for we can have early voting. We'll take the old tax office, we'll modify that floor space so that they can do early voting there, because normally we would have to use someone else's facility to accomplish that. And then the other thing that will allow us to do is house our voting machines there. Right now we have them in a warehouse at the Sheriff's Department, and it provides total control over those machines through the elections administration. Was really looking forward to it. I think it's something that the citizens of the county can be proud of. So now when we're on, one of the things that I've really stressed is, if you don't look professional, you're not taking in that manner. So one of the things I've really stressed with the Commissioner's Court is that we dress professional. And not only with that, your facilities need to appear professional. And so I think this really enhances how we're presented to the public, and I think that people appreciate that and how it's presented. Exactly, and see, the other thing that this will allow for is when we do address the courthouse and we have to move some of those courts around, like the County Court of Law, we have 2 of those. We'll be able to use this facility. We'll be able to use the old courtroom at the existing annex. We've talked to the city about utilizing their municipal court during any type of construction. It'll just give us so much more flexibility in order to address those improvements that we can still hold court, we can still operate.